Hey, what's up? What's up, son? What can I do?
So today my father is gonna be helping me out and changing front and rear suspension of my Pathfinder 99, as well as my front disc brakes and calipers. I mean, not calipers, but front brake pads and disc. Right, father?
Oh yeah. Hey.
First, what we want to do is start taking the nuts out of the lugs of the wheel and take the wheel out so you can start working on the brakes and suspension as well. You can see the footage over here. My father helping me out. He's working underneath the car. Now it's time to take out the calipers because we're gonna be swapping out these old and rusty disc brakes and dropping in a brand new ones. Also the brake pads as well as the suspension. But for that, we're gonna have to take out these two bolts. These are the 7/8 socket. You're gonna have to use an extension because it's a little bit tough to get those two bolts. It's this one right here, and there's another one down here in the bottom. After hours trying to figure out how to undo these bolts, we found a bar that worked for us as a breaker bar. That's how we finally were able to unscrew these freaking bolts. Right, father? Was this a pain in the A?
Let me check.
Let's take a look at the brand new discs. They're slotted or drilled disc. They look very fine. I mean, for my taste, they look very good. What do you think about the brand new disc brakes, father? What do you think about the new disc brakes? The new disc brakes.
Oh, the brake.
Yeah.
This brake. Ah, very good. Look nice. Look like it's tiny screen.
Out with the old, in with the new. Now it's time to screw back in the bolts. Do not screw it clockwise. Screw it like the opposite side. You know, like in a star shape. So that's how you make sure you're tightening the bolts evenly. Like so. Okay, so looks like we're pretty much done with the addition of the disc brake to the wheel hub. Give it some turns, make sure everything's tight, nothing's loose. So my father was saying,
Lose the grip for release the piston. This piston over here.
what he's saying is that we have to unscrew a little bit these nipples in order for the piston to release the pressure. Because remember, I had these pads very wear out, and well, you know, these pistons are the ones that pushes the pads against the disc brake and actually stops the car, right? So if the pads are very wear, the piston starts to move in, and since we have new pads, you know how thick these things are, they're not gonna fit. So we're gonna have to try to compress these pistons in and give us as much room as possible.
Exactly.
Now at this point, all you have to do is bleed out the nipple of the brake liquid. You flush it, you bleed it, whatever you want to call it, and you make sure that your brakes are tight. Same with this side, same with the other side. I'm not gonna record the other side because it's pretty much the same thing, straightforward. And yeah, just put the wheel hook cap on, and that's it, man. We're gonna take out 3 nuts. Always be careful. Got everything under control. Ay, fue la madre.
Bien, bien, bien. Ok. Under control. De arriba lo deberías de poner primero, ¿no? O de abajo primero. Cuesta más de abajo, parece.
Ya lo quise poner de abajo y no dio. Va a ser de arriba. You're gonna have to put you're gonna sort of have to lean it towards the car in order for the nut, the bolt to come right through this hole. And you can actually put the lug nuts on top of it, which is actually gonna make your job easier. And you already have it hanging right like this. The only thing left you have to do is put back on these two bolts you took out, and you're pretty much set. And that's how you install your new suspension. I'm gonna leave you with the click of the last step. Then I'm gonna put on the rim and tire. We're ready to rock this car. For the rear suspension, we're gonna need the 3/4 socket, the 3/8, and we're also gonna need a 11/16 wrench. Also, if you don't have a breaker bar, you can use a piece of pipe right like this one. You can stick it behind your wrench, and you have like an extension. So this can work as your breaker bar. For the nut on top, you're gonna need your 7/8 along with your wrench and your extension or your breaker bar. Once the nut's loose, you can try to unscrew it with your hand. I find it easier. So you're gonna once you unscrew the nut, you're also gonna find the washer. So let's put this aside. Este camarógrafo que tengo está perro, papá. Here in the back, by the inner side of the wheel and tire, you're gonna need your 3/4 socket. If you have a long one, it's mandatory to use it because it's a little hard to reach the head of the bolt that is out here. So if you have a long 3/4 socket, it's mandatory to use it. For this part, you're also gonna need to have a different tool. Here's where we're using the 11/16 because we're gonna try to trap this nut back here, because once you start wrenching this part over here, this bolt is gonna start moving and you're not gonna unscrew anything. We already took it off, but we didn't record it because it's the same process, just in the opposite side. All right. So you see, this is the old one. This strut is supposed to compress when you hit a pothole and go up by itself, helping the suspension not to bounce a lot, to have a nicer, smoother ride. And you can see this thing, if I press it down, it does not reload up. So after 20 years, these things are dead. Let me show you the new one. this comes with this sort of wrap over here, because the new ones, they do compress, they do load up once you take it off. You see, it does it by itself. You see, this is when a strut, this is an example of a good working strut. Check it a little bit. Let's take a look if everything is screwed properly, because you don't want to have a loose nut or bolt when you're going on the freeway 70 miles an hour. You're not gonna have a fun time.